Uh, uh, See you in Pittsburgh. Can't download that yet. Yeah, I can't really follow too many streams. It's already hard enough following Wolf and Celtic Cat. I just have too much shit to do on the computer. I was, like, I always knew more about Zoroastrianism, but I was reading more into it today, and frankly, I find reading about religions boring because it's all the same shit. But as I was reading this Zoroastrianism book, and how it's a tradition which predates history itself, and it's been Jews ripped it off, and then Christians and Muslims ripped off the Jews. It was all big hand-me-down. In Zoroastrianism, they already have marriage and funerary rites, and they believe in an uncreated one God, and they believe that there are good spirits and demonic spirits. They already do the thing where people walk around saying things are demonic, which is a way to say that things are bad without having to explain it. Just like retarded Christian and all Abrahamic retard slaves do. And I was just thinking how retarded it is how everybody wants to LARP as Jews. Christians want to talk about Zion and say that this is like the Jews in the Bible. We're like the Jews. We're like the Jews of Europe. We're like the Jews of America. And I was just thinking, that's so retarded that you want to be that, because it's a diluted, later, arbitrary, made-up thing that was ripped off of Zoroastrianism and the Middle Eastern cults and religions which preceded it. Why don't people want to be magi? Because that's where the term comes from. Like mages, that's where it comes from, a Greek variation of I think it's magos. But that's where magi literally come from, and I wouldn't want to emulate Zoroastrianism because it's more of the same Abrahamic shit, but it's still like It was already doing all the things that people think that Abrahamic faiths are unique for. Magus. People want to LARP as Jews and Abrahamic retardation, which are like children compared to the Magi tradition. It literally predates history because there's Zoroaster, who nobody even knows when he came about. It could be 4000 BC, it could be before that. Nobody knows. And then Zoroaster himself was also part of a Iranian religion in that area. They had their own cults. They already were doing their own thing. Zoroaster basically claims to have innovated upon it. It was basically like the landscape allegedly was nothing but might makes right and dudes riding around on chariots, just like raping and pillaging. So then Zoroaster tried to innovate upon the existing religion, which was around before literally history. Predates history, by the way. To impose the idea of Azra Mazda, the uncreated god, as that could have been part of the old religion too. It's nobody's even really sure what he made up, what he innovated, and what was taken from the cult that he was a part of. It's just it's so even more so now, I am further reinforced in viewing Abrahamics as like children, as con artists, not even running a good con. It's like Gen Alpha with PlayStation 5 saying, nothing ever came before the PlayStation 5. This is the only way like games can be played. The PlayStation 5 is the closest thing to the metaphysical system. That's why you should turn to the PlayStation 5. You can't know what truth and morality are without the PlayStation 5. Because at least Zoroastrianism and those religions, they were more abstract about their gods and about the creator god and about the tempter anti-god, the Satan, so to speak. Because with the Abrahamic retardation, now we're dealing with specifics like a man named Jesus who you should believe because he had magic powers. And then the Jews, specifically the Jews, named the Jews who were born in the Levant area, or their civilization was. They moved out of Egypt into the Levant, and now that makes them special, apparently, even though just to the east, for thousands of years before they did that, people were doing the exact same thing that they plagiarized. It's a joke, but they plagiarized it, they twisted and corrupted it to benefit themselves. Abrahamic faiths are like children, and they're running a shit grift. So I'm going to be a bit harder and bring out Zoroastrianism, because I always knew, of course, determinism tells us that something had to precede Judaism, and that clearly there was a lot of cultural synthesis happening among all the faiths. But then you get the specifics. It's like, specifically, you are a ripoff of Zoroastrianism and Persian religions. And also all the various pagan traditions that your shitty religion synthesized with. In the Levant, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Germany. And I don't even want to, like I said, I don't even want to idolize Zoroastrianism because I don't actually agree with it, because there's still the alternative, which is things like Chinese thought. I think Confucianism came out long after. Let's see. Yep, it was around like 500 BC. So, but there's still those kinds of thought. He wasn't the only one who did that. It was a bit of a tradition. And then there were all the various pagan faiths, the various shamanistic and animist traditions, who had a different outlook, because I don't like the whole. I don't know how to phrase this. In Mage the Ascension, they basically categorize this paradigm as something. They group it all like, so you have all the Abrahamic faiths, and you have Zoroastrianism, and basically they group it all together and they call it the Celestial Chorus, which is basically this notion that there is this one divine being that we are all shards of, and we are trying to reunite with it. And a lot of that happens to entail like an end of the world scenario, with a bunch of crusaders that think they can do no wrong and start genociding people and killing witches. And saying that all spirits are evil, anything we don't like is just satanic and demonic, and we don't have to explain why. What's the Zoroastrian term for demons? Zoroastrian demon. Devas. I thought that was a Hindu term, but that's Davic. That's Davic. What does that mean? Why don't you explain what Davic means? It's Davic, and you're Davic for asking. I don't like that. Spirit. There can be nuance, but inevitably, when normies get a hold of it, there's a dichotomy between light and dark. The analogies get out of control. It's still better, it's more abstract than Abrahamic, local, geographical based crap. Because that's what life is. Life is a synthesis of, like, being and nothing, reality and negation. It's like light and dark. It's not light and dark, because those have specific physical contexts. But it's like that. It's like 1 and 0. That's what the world is made out of, and we could go down that route. It would make sense if I was talking to a magi, a Zoroastrian magi in the year 4500 BC, and he explained that to me. I'd be like, oh, that's cool, I agree. But I doubt that that's what most of them thought. Because you have to realize the normie masses cattle festivity component of religion. People don't really think that hard about it. So that's just what I was doing today. I was just reading. I was writing a little bit and listening to music, and then I was reading about Zoroastrianism more, and then I got bored of it. It was good. It helped me think, though. It helped me put a few things into perspective, made things more clear. That I already knew, which is basically all that you get out of specifics when you pretty much know the gist of everything. I don't want Zoroastrianism to do a resurgence, per se. It's just that Abrahamism looks like even more of a joke when you are aware of Zoroastrianism. It's not gonna revive. Nobody really even knows what the fuck it is, because literally most of the religion is prehistory or was destroyed by the Abrahamic Spurgouts. The thoughts on Begonia? I haven't seen it. Abrahamism is just a blight. It's like arbitrary, made-up nonsense that is strayed far from the abstraction that it claims to be closest to. And I'm sick of listening to people talk about how Anglicanism is based, or something like that. Also, the fact that the Abrahamics wiped out those religions, those prehistoric ones. They also blended with them and copied them to the point where people look at things that these religions were already doing, and they think, oh, that's Christianity, or that's Judaism, or that's Islam. Not to mention, those Zoroastrians faced persecution, and they were forced to change towards Islam to survive. And they also moved into India, where they blended with Buddhism. So you can't really narrow down what it actually is. But I imagine it was something really bland, and I wouldn't be part of it anyway. It's just cool to see. This is like what we were doing in prehistory. Abrahamism is retarded. I actually like the paganism and esotericism where spirits are not put into these dichotomies of good and evil. Spirits are spirits. Hey, look, it's a forest spirit. It's a tree. It's a tree. What's it called? Nymph, or it's a river nymph. Is she good or bad? Is that river nymph good or bad? Well, it's a river nymph. Is a cat good or bad? That would be the correct way to deal with spirits. cats can be good. They're very expressive and funny. And they keep out pests. And at the same time, cats are an invasive species that annihilate the local animal populations of small creatures. Cats are also shit for indoor living, with the hairballs and the needing the litter boxes. They'll get killed if you let them outside. Your neighbor will just grab your cat and skin them alive, because that's what normies are like. Normies are like mindless, impulsive people that don't believe in anything, like I've said many times before. So be like, yeah, I love cats, I wouldn't fuck with anybody. And then when they see your cat and they look around and they realize they can get away with it, they grab your cat and they take it into the woodshed and they skin it slowly at a time. They pluck its eyeballs out, they shove the spike up its ass. And they shed, yeah. Fluffy cats are funny, but too much work. And they shed. And short-furred cats are better. Egyptians would not really be that different. That's what you find out as across space and time, people stay the same. That's why I wouldn't care about visiting aliens or finding out if alien life exists, because it would be the same bullshit. It's a lot more fleeting than it seems. It would become boring very quickly. In college, a lot of people were surprised to find out how much Abrahamic religions took from Zoroastrians. It is surprising, because you find out that Abrahamism is childish, made-up bullshit that's a relatively recent thing. Everything the Jews have been babbling about, their tradition is just an elaborate series of making up things to become important. They're just making things significant out of nowhere. They're basically all standing around be like, this matters, this is important, this is significant, and they just do that. And the longer they do that, see, we've been doing this for a couple hundred years now, so that means it's really significant. And that's all it is. It's just made up shit. If your religion was made when history began being recorded, it's not the original, and it probably made up shit that came from the culture that it was a part of already. It's copying other traditions. It's just made up. It's like it's what you do. It's what you do as a marketing team. That's all. Like the religion, these traditions are. It's like you want to buy this product. You want to buy this product because this bullshit, this shit, and you want to buy this product. You basically you're just imposing your will on cattle people and hurting them. Nietzsche has the best take on how Abrahamic religion influences Europe. I haven't read much of him, so I wouldn't know. Aside from the hating normies, hating Christians, and realizing that cattle don't give a shit about morality, and that it's basically just might makes right and will to power when you're among animals. That much is true. The slave morality. It's not even just that. It's that because cattle should be slaves. Cattle are slaves, and they should be treated as such. But it's just such an arbitrary, presumptuous, tedious tradition that doesn't even have a place in Europe. It's not natural. It doesn't come from the spirit. It masquerades. Ted Kaczynski, yeah, he's not very spiritual. He's making a bunch of correct criticisms of technological society. A lot of it, which is actually, funnily enough, covered by Karl Marx when he's describing capitalism. It's basically just that the technological age is applied capitalism. Yes, exactly. He believes that violence is natural and morality is a construction of technological systems. That's extremely materialistic. He doesn't have a spiritual basis from which to start assessing the behavior of beings. So he starts citing a bunch of material phenomena as being this unique catalyst for some unnatural thing. Morality literally exists from the point of self, where you're assessing, like, what is right and wrong for me, even if you're selfish. That's like early morality. That's the drive to be moral, to determine right from wrong. Now, morality, what these people don't realize is morality, the shit cattle morality, it's like a fabrication that's just made up by these vast systems and by all the cattle retards going along with it. I mean, yeah, there's something wrong there, and he's right to suspect it, but then he misdiagnoses the problem. He doesn't diagnose where it comes from. That's where most people you talk to that make observations, they don't have the most immediate spiritual basis from which to determine why things are happening, so there's going to be flaws in their logic, even if they're making some good observations that can even be accurate. Because then you run into retardation, like people say that like Christianity is some unique thing and that we need it or else you can't know what truth is. That's a physical, non-spiritual, circumstantial thing that is anti-spiritual, if anything, because your philosophy doesn't even have a spiritual basis. You're clinging to an aesthetic, physical, material, circumstantial thing that will be dissolved of its meaning along with all symbols. If you even rely on symbols, you're already going to miss the mark in different circumstances. The mage is the archetype of the self-actualized man who has realized their own will and exercises their will onto reality. I mean, basically, that's some... I'm not talking about Mage the Ascension is wrong. If anybody is looking into that, Mage the Ascension is fucking wrong. All it teaches you is that the laws of physics aren't what's spiritual, and that there are things which stay the same even if there's an afterlife or not, whether there's gravity or not, whether vampires are real, whether aliens are real or not. Basically, how I define mages, because I'm writing my manifesto about mages, the magic order, which is yes, it's basically people who have achieved enlightenment and have objectified the spiritual and the physical, and have they've crossed this threshold and have attained freedom and self-determination. And then the whole magic aspect is basically, it's called the magic order because it's an order which will exist regardless of the laws of physics. Because magic, the natural versus the supernatural is subjective. It's basically when you find out that there are laws of physics beyond what you thought, what you accepted as possible. And then you find out, oh, interdimensional portals are real, time travel is real. Actually, this was all a simulation. Actually, we're all like computer programs piloting these complicated simulated bodies. And if any of that were the case, this magical order, regardless of whatever the laws of physics are, will harmonize with it. Will order it, provided they have the power. The only defining thing, in order to create a system to impose yourself on existence, is to have the power to do so. Because I was also writing that there's this various scenarios that could happen. Let's say a all-powerful dragon just swoops in and takes over and enslaves everybody and makes everybody its bitches or just kills everybody. It's like, well, there's fuck all you can do. It has power. It has the most power. We don't have power, so we're just gonna do the best we can under its tyranny, I guess. Or try to end the world to free ourselves. And then same goes for how would a Illuminati group of mages that control the world, if you don't have the power to maintain yourself and exert yourself upon the world, the masses, the cattle will overthrow you. They will rebel. If you don't have power, let's say, if you don't have a way to maintain control over, say, a bunch of countries, those countries can utilize their military to. These world leaders will just eliminate the mages that are supposed to be their superiors. It doesn't matter if you don't have the power. It's just, and that's all physical circumstance. It's just that this is what people would want to make. That's like the end goal of every material system made by the enlightened, benevolent will. Religion, the problem isn't that religions aren't abstract anymore. It's religion is for retards. Religion is meant to be for retards. I was talking to Dutch Nepal, who I was describing my model for like a mage governed world, and he was like, that's similar to Plato's Republic. And in that, Plato details something called the noble lie, which is a religion, kind of a Gnostic prison, which will be given to the normie cattle masses for them to believe in, because they don't understand anything. They have to place their faith in the system, and this system has to benefit the enlightened ruling class. That's the purpose of religion. It's just that we're in a big free-for-all. There's a bunch of stupid religions, and everything's in decline. Everything's corrupted. Religion has a place. It's for retards, and it's for enlightened people to transcend. Whether we live in a simulation or not doesn't fucking matter. When people start making shit up, it's basically more just religious, mythological afterlife kind of bullshit. Oh, when we die, we're gonna wake up from the simulation, or we're gonna wake up in a resurrection machine or a cloning machine. It's just more bullshit. It's more beings trying to argue that they will continue to exist. They can't accept that there is an argument, that there is an end to them, so they will just make shit up like they do with religion. They just make up rituals. They'll be like, let's just pray to the god of farms for a good yield this year. Let's pray to the god of the sky to bring us rain and a healthy balance of sunlight. Let's pray. You know, when your car starts acting up and it might break down, you start praying like, oh God, please just get us there. Please just get us there. That's pretty much what religion is. And its purpose is to ensnare retards and to be transcended. The Gnostic prison that the mages will rule over will be of the masses' own making. It's a Gnostic prison they imposed upon themselves. That's the beauty of it. And also religion, since people place their trust in it, that's something for the other normie cattle to abuse. In this world, most of these fuckers around you, they want you to give your trust and your faith, and then they can trick you. The salesman wants you to think you want this product or that he's your friend. The commercials want you to feel like the product is your friend. They want you to put your blind faith that these charities will actually help and you don't need to investigate. And then you find out that like 90% or even more of that money goes into the pockets of a bunch of rich pedophiles or Israel. That Cars for Kids charity. That all that money gets funneled into a fucking Zionist scam to migrate Jews into Israel. It's just if you place your faith, if you trust other people, they will abuse that. That's the technique. You're deceived. And surprise, religions are faith-based systems. You just put your faith in them. Oh, look at that. It's another scam. It's run by a bunch of retards. It's just that maybe the religious leaders should be on a leash and have to check in with mages, and if they fuck with us, then we send the death squads in to turn them into wallpaper. Because the only thing animals really understand is power. Whether there's an afterlife or not, that's all material. It has nothing to do with spirituality. Being and nothing and rationality will continue to be in any universe where part of the laws of physics is that you get to go to a cloud dimension with your name and your face when you die. And clearly that's not the case in this universe. And in another universe, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm gonna change the delay on these messages that pop up. Or the fade, whatever. There we go. It would be cool if the Kali Yuga ended and we were back in the Golden Age with the people on the bottom on the top and the rich cattle on the bottom with the rest of the cattle. Yes, rich people are just normal people with a lot of money. They're a bunch of fucking retards. Yes, they probably do depravity because normal people are depraved. Normal people are predators, they're bullies, they're thieves. Of course they do all this fucked up shit when they get money. The problem on top comes from the problem down below. Doesn't matter where they are, it's the same cause. It's a spiritual problem. Oh, elites know how to move money around, just like a fucking low-class plumber can change a pipe. Oh, that's about the things that a rich fucker knows is about as valuable as somebody can hammer a nail. They're just as stupid. They watch complete slop and garbage. They watch commercials. They literally watch commercials. You think Elon Musk is good at moving money around? What else? He's good at lying. He's good at realizing I should own Twitter and then have a bunch of bots push a bunch of bullshit to promote my companies. And also so I can constantly do favors for the Zionists that are blackmailing me. And then beyond that, he's a retard. He has childish takes that any of us would have made when we were 14 years old. Because guess what? When you're protected from argumentation, you don't have to care. Why are people hypocrites? Why do people do one thing and say another? Because they don't have to care. They have to be forced to care. People have to be forced to be inquisitive and curious. And if you're comfortable, and you're happy, and you're lucky, and your ego's constantly being inflated, you don't have to care. You can just be a retard. You can learn how to move money around. You can learn a skill, and you'll still be a retard. Oh, these poor to middle class people, oh, no, they're smart too. They're plumbers. They know stuff about cars. They know how to sell meth. Yeah, there's something I was gonna write. I just said earlier, but I forget what it was. I don't think so. There's a relation between high IQ and socioeconomic status. Some elites did have to work their way up to be where they're at, as frustrating as that might sound. Just pull up your bootstraps, right? The truth is that they already had a very advantageous position to work from. They're already extremely lucky. Like they just required a small loan of $1 million from their father or from their family's hedge fund. Elon Musk's dad only had he had a small stock holding in an emerald mine that used exploited black people to mine it. People only have the small little advantage of growing up in these gated, surveilled super communities in Virginia or Geneva, where they groom the next world leaders of governments and corporations. They just have a small little advantage like that and have to really work their way up just like you do. And that's the difference. Just because they start off in a $50 million mansion in Geneva or Virginia, not too far from Langley or DC. Just because you start off in a trailer park and they start off in a $50 million estate, the reason that they succeed is because they're smarter than you. It's because they're genetically superior. Do you see how much money they have? It's because they're not just superior to you, they're superior in every way, especially intelligence. Because they have money. Anybody can be smart. Anybody could be in a position where they have control and they can move shit around for their own benefit. There's millions of people doing it. They don't all become billionaire pedo elites because of circumstance. And there's plenty of smart people suffering, toiling away. You're just because they have money, you overestimate how intelligent they are. They're very boring. And yes, maybe they're intelligent, like they know how to move money around because they've been doing it for a while and their daddy told them how to do it, and their daddy put them through university. And then when you talk to them, when you actually talk to them, they're retards. They have the opinions of 14-year-olds, and they recreationally watch commercials. And they'll be watching a movie, and they'll have the same. They'll be watching like The Matrix, and they'll be like, "Whoa!" Like imagine you or me. We know what The Matrix is. We saw it a long time ago, and we've totally internalized it and trivialized it, and we don't think it's mind-blowing anymore. And then you're watching The Matrix with a billionaire, and he's like, he turns to you and he goes, "Whoa, dude, that would be crazy if like that if we lived in a simulation like that. What if I'm the one? Or what if like the machines rewarded me or something? That would be crazy. Like that would be a mind-blowing thing to him." And then he would go back to watching commercials. Then he would go back to watching Netflix sitcoms and these fucking these Netflix subscription shows that's about executives doing Machiavellian stuff and with drama. That's marketed at white bitch nurses that are retards and wage cocks. You're overestimating them. They are cattle with money. Truth is, it's not hard. When you're in a really lucky position, it's not hard to succeed. You can be a retard and succeed. You just need half of a brain. And also, you can succeed and not do anything else. So you're good at getting money, and then you're a complete retard in every other aspect. You have the most bland, childish philosophy or lack thereof, tastes, perspectives of the world. And you don't care. Nothing dissolves your ego. Because you have money. So you don't have to listen to what other people say. Why should you? You're comfortable. It would be effort to have to self-reflect and expand beyond what reality forced you to do. Two guys. There's two guys. They both want the position of the big cheese. They want to be the big boss. Only one of them can succeed. They're both equally qualified. Only one can get it, though. The guy that gets it from a coin flip. This guy is considered smarter than the other guy. World full of stupid people ran by stupid people for stupid people, and we're leading towards their own demise, which means human extinction. They're cattle. Cattle with money. Cattle reinforcing cattle, which leads to mass decline and corruption. Yeah, you keep saying the elites they're intelligent because they've been groomed to know how to move money around. And then when you inquire into their philosophy, they're a bunch of fucking retards. They have childish views of the world. Does it take a degree of intelligence to scam people, to trick retards into buying your shit? Sure, but anybody could do that. I don't even care about IQ because honestly think it's bullshit. A lot of people claim 150 IQ and they're complete retards. You do realize, like, I don't care if you're an engineer and you can build robots and you can build like a whole electrical system, right? That means you have a skill. Who cares? I'll call you if I need you to do that fucking labor. That's all you are. You're a servitor. And then retards. You talk to a plumber, and they're like, I know how to change shit pipes, so I know everything else. What you don't think Trump's gonna end all wars? You think Trump's gonna spend more money? I'm a plumber. I'm a plumber. You shut the fuck up. You're stupid compared to me. What do you do? I change pipes. I make money changing people's pipes. That's all it fucking amounts to. Talking about elite intelligence and making money. I change shit pipes. That means I know everything else that's happening. What? I don't need to know why things are happening. I change shit pipes. That's why enough. That's explanation enough. It tells me all I need to know. I make money. I'm a billionaire. That tells me all I need to know. It is material skills. Ask one of these Israeli tech billionaires some grand question about existence and like what is our purpose here? And they'll tell you like our purpose. Well, they'll tell you off the cuff. Our purpose is to ensure the expansion of the Jewish people, the God's chosen people, over the Goyim, who will provide us their slave labor. And that's pretty much what billionaire philosophy is. Yeah, I don't. Nobility had an obligation to help people in the past, maybe because of proximity, but I still don't. I don't have faith in that. It's probably about the same as now. Capitalism is just like a development of the existing systems. I don't trust nobility. See, maybe nobility cared in the same sense of my dad was telling me earlier today. Like if we were in a pirate crew and the captain was robbing us the way that the government and the billionaires are right now, we would have overthrown him. We would have tossed him overboard by now. And you can't really get away with that as easily as a pirate captain due to proximity. Because the people you're scamming can literally watch what you're doing. You're not concealed behind a vast system and hundreds of miles and these big, elaborate, subtle systems of plunder and deception. That's the only way that nobility would be more benevolent towards people. Just because they're literally closer to the people. Where if you rape and kill my daughter, or you steal my shit, I can run you through with a pitchfork. You can hide in your castle, which a lot of them do. It's kind of like living in a castle. It's kind of like how they live in like these gated communities and these fortified, surveilled mansions, these neighborhoods. You can't really hop the fence and just go kill them, because in that time period they had men at arms and stuff and guards and sentries who were paid in food, food and housing. Which is very comfortable, relatively speaking. So even then it was really difficult, and those nobles, they could have done whatever they wanted. Especially any of these kings of these large areas of like Burgundy, Barrow, the Lowlands, Prussia, they could have gotten away with it. Something that size. And they probably were doing exploitative, fucked up shit. Of course, in Prussia, there was enough revolutionary sentiment eventually that the government had to become more socialist to appease them. And that was during industrialization. It's not that the elites are intelligent, it's that they have the compliance of literally millions upon millions of people. Like, how intelligent do you think that, like, these fat, ugly Jew producers are? Basically, if you're the guy moving money around, then you're moving the money around guys closer to you who move money around guys out, and they spread out like that. And you just sit on top of the kingdom of people fighting each other trying to climb up to where you are, all doing your bidding. You're not, it doesn't require hyper intelligence. It's like the notion that billionaires are doing the work of 1 million workers per hour. And no, they likely won't be confronted because, again, they have the adoration and compliance of a couple billion people. If things are going to get worse and people are going to be too complacent and still so enamored with the idea that they can become a rich pedophile too, if they just keep grinding away and nobody will do shit. And then the government will just print money and keep doling out free money to the billionaires and they'll always be protected. You will be very disillusioned with how people actually act in wealthy circles because I was never allowed, but I get to talk to wealthier people that were part of the wealthy circles, and they tell me how much it sucks, how they're stupid people. They're extremely fucking overrated. Talking to a multimillionaire's son is the same as talking to a nurse, a blonde nurse. They're that stupid. They're just lucky. They watch crap. They have stupid opinions. They're not deep thinkers. They're just lucky and they have half a brain to move money around. They have some kind of material skill. Which again, are we considering plumbers hyper intelligent? If you start working at your dad's plumbing company at the age of 16 and you save up 10% of your money and blow the rest on drugs and cars and shit. And then in 20 years you could have like $200,000, and is that like a product of hyper intelligence? We're talking about billionaires, so we're talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who is a fucking childish retard. The second he steps out of making money. He's good at lying to make money. He's good at knowing if I buy Twitter, again, I can promote my companies and gain favor with the Zionists who blackmail me. A lot of billionaires, like, you're not even allowed to be a billionaire unless you're blackmailed, basically. Whether that's having your assets being able to be seized at any moment, or you're literally on tape raping children. You're basically like a patsy. You're an apparatus of the system. You don't even have freedom. You have the freedom to rape Filipino kids. You have the freedom to bang a 10-year-old white girl and push her down the stairs to give her an abortion. You have the freedom to have a gynecologist on your private island give children abortions after you knock them up. Oh, good. I've been talking for about an hour and a half. I was worried that I didn't have anything to say. Well, smooth sailing from here. I didn't get to eat mac and cheese like I wanted because my dad made pizza, which I appreciate. I just was craving mac and cheese, but I'll have to wait till tomorrow. Abortion's fine. That's my stance. People don't comprehend what consciousness is, so they're fucking stupid as hell, and They can't wrap their brains around what consciousness actually is and that a fetus is not conscious. And obviously, if somebody wants to remove this fetus, they should be allowed to. What if it's like 1 day away from being born? I mean, that's more... Then you basically are killing a baby. And I don't really... A baby basically isn't conscious either. A baby has like the awareness level of an insect. It will be pretty messy to kill that baby, but you can go ahead and do it. I look like Hot Wheels. Yeah, I know the image you mean. It's just a really comfortable way to sit right now. Nah, abortion's fine. Anybody complaining about it's a fucking retard. They pretty much tell me that they're stupid and don't understand what consciousness even is. They fundamentally can't understand, like, the continuum of awareness of beings. Because it's not about... We also have to be practical. And we can just say, if it pops out of the baby... If it pops out of the vagina hole, then it's a baby. Because people don't realize that imposing all these technicalities and these regulations and additional rules is more burdensome and inefficient, and we need to keep it simple. We need to keep things simple as much as possible. We need to reserve complexity for things that matter, like tax codes and regulating the healthcare industry. Just abort. You can just abort them. Who cares? Whatever conditions there are. If it didn't come out of the vagina or the asshole, then you can abort it. No, that's not Celtic Cat, but he's probably from Celtic Cat's Outer Borea server, which is fine. Who the fuck is Celtic Cat? Well, it could be fucking anybody, honestly. I was just thinking about this whole sphere of live streams. I'm in a fuckload of Discord servers. I'm in 100 Discord servers, and in every single one of those servers, it's advertising that I'm streaming. There is also a 4chan tag. Alright, that's fine. Whatever. I am a Chantard. No, your username indicates that you could be from literally any right-wing thing. You could be from a link on Twitter, any of these Discord servers, literally anything. Fucking YouTube. It doesn't matter. Like, I was speaking to this one old white supremacist guy, and he does speak kind of a little bit immature and abrasively, like somebody who discovered Pole like a year ago, but he's still like he's been a I don't he's an old fucker, and he has been a white nationalist for a very long fucking time. It's just that whenever he starts talking about racial stuff or the Jews, then he basically doesn't hold back. He just goes off the handle like that. No, not Thomas White. There is this guy who was on Thomas White, though. I don't know what his fucking name is. I was on 4chan being around 2009 to 2011. I don't dare to claim before that. I'm a summer fag. I've been on 4chan. I've been using 4chan since 2007. I was actually playing Habbo Hotel when it was being raided by the Negras blocking the pool. And they mentioned 4chan, so I went to 4chan and started using it. And I've been using it for 20 years. No, not any of those guys. I don't know what his fucking name is. The guy I'm talking about, I don't know how old he is. He just sounds old. He sounds like he could have been in a Southern militia in the 90s. Even though he might be younger than that. You're talking about William. I don't even know that. I don't even know if that's right. I starting lurking on pull and to a lesser extent R9K around 2017 and 2018. I believe ever since COVID, most of the boards have become terrible. 4chan kind of has always been terrible. It's mostly the bots that are the problem. It wasn't as big of an issue when you were talking to retards who were at least real people. Like, I wouldn't want to go back to 2008 where we thought long cat is long is funny. Or I guess it stopped. I guess it was already on its way out by then. So like 2007, it was like Desu and Long Cat and Cockmongler and Happy Negro, Pedo Bear, bunch of bullshit that was probably funny at the time, but I wouldn't want to go back to that. I like how culture has kind of developed a bit. I just hate the bots and all the agendas. I started using 8chan and WizChan whenever R9K kind of existed and got overran with a bunch of people obsessed with having sex and normies. I got banned for making a bomb threat, but I also went to WizardChan, and 8chan. Well, WizardChan specifically, so that I could be around people that weren't obsessed with talking about not getting laid. WizardChan is there's two different websites. WizardChan was the first one. WizChan was the resurrection after WizardChan went down, I think. Something happened to it. I think WizardChan might have been a honeypot too. It was like a place to lure in virgins or something. But then they were like, or it turned into that. And so a couple determined people from WizardChan were like, well, we like the premise of the website, so let's like actually make the website for real. Let's run by us. I haven't even looked at WizChan in a long time. I just browse 4chan and Reddit and Twitter and YouTube. Well, when I say that WizardChan was a honeypot, I mean it was literally like a troll honeypot to attract losers to laugh at or something. Or, wait, it might have had something to do with Hot Wheels, who, or like, or Null or somebody, they turned out to not be a virgin, which was a scandal. And then it turned into like just mocking the people that were using WizardChan. And there was a lot of people who were trolls who were just making shit up on WizardChan. And then WizChan was a second attempt by some actual virgin computer guy. It was also like kind of the the pet project of Hot Wheels, I think, where it was kind of a respected place because somebody once described Wizardchan and WizChan as a digital monastery where it was for guys who were just tired of talking to normies and failed normies and people crying about not having sex or talking about how they are having sex and you're a loser if you don't. And they're like, we just don't want any of this and we just want to go to where, we just talk about hobbies. We just talk about how, life sucks. We don't really want to get laid or we can't get laid because we're fucked, because we're ugly, we're fucked genes. And it was cool. Like I was browsing there for a couple years. Good. Fuck, what was I doing? I'm assuming, Shabos, Goyim, you were antagonizing them. I probably did something fucked up. I mean, I did a few fucked up things to a few people, but Jurge from Kiwi Farms tried to start a new 8chan, but V spammed it full of CP and he had to shut down it because they automated changing the metadata and uploading it. Okay. Jesus. They they automated CP spamming so that the image detection kept missing it. Oh man, that's what the fuck do you do at that point? You have to either have a dedicated mod team or you have to have some sophisticated algorithm that did not really exist in that era. At least not for us. Not for normal people. Not for the average Joe. Okay. I tell you, V automated editing the CP metadata changing, so you would have to manually ban hundreds of pics of same CP just because Jersh from Kiwi Farms decided to ban Lolly on his 4chan clone. I hate V, it's just Reddit pedophiles, always been a far left board. Are you talking about, I'm assuming you mean 8chan V? Or you still talking about 4chan V? Nah. It's honestly kind of retarded how... It's retarded how the driving force of a lot of this, like, libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, individualist sentiment is basically just pedophiles wanting to protect their child porn and their ambitions to one day partake in it themselves. And, like, it sucks, and it's like, these are your reluctant allies that you have to rely on to... But then they end up, like, worshipping Elon Musk and all this degenerate shit, so they lose their purpose. They end up, like, worshipping capitalism and rich people and hating poor people, so they have no purpose. They're just fucking degenerates that want to pay less taxes and want to bang kids. Alright. It's like, it's one thing if you're a complete depraved fucker who's a libertarian because you want to be depraved and you want to be, you want to run your own shit and you want everybody to stay out of what you're doing. But if you're just a degenerate that's complicit with the fucking shit system, you're just a bitch. And you're not even useful. You're just another wannabe rich pedo elite. You're just like that makes them like a normie, because normies basically are predators that worship the rich and they wish they could be invited to Epstein Island too. I think if they wage cuck enough and shout down anybody who points out the flaws with the system, that will allow them to be rich pedophiles too. I am a deviant too. I'm just not a... I'm willing to, like, look the other way on what other people do, because this world is fucked anyway. Like, I'm dead. I don't fucking care. I know that there's normies around here that are trying to shack up with single moms to get at the kids, and I don't care. Like, I view everybody as animals. I view it as like a giant orgy of depravity and violence and death. I'm just a degenerate. Like, I just like Futanari and femdom and furry porn and shit. It's stuff that I don't really care if people know about it. I'm glad it's not more insane shit that gets you persecuted. And shit that involves harming other people that you probably feel bad about whenever you beat off to it. I feel really good whenever I look at my porn. I have no regrets. Dude, I was playing literally like 3 hours ago. I was playing Skyrim and I was just constantly talking about like how all these like tall, strong vampire bitches. I wish I was like their pet. I wish that like they're invincible. You wouldn't be able to do anything if they, whatever. It's you get it though. God, I love this first track in this. This is so fucking hype. I'm just listening to these soundtracks from Soul Reaver because I beat that this week. What crypto wallet is that? It's a Monero. Cain refused the sacrifice. XMR chat. You should be. I've never heard of that site, but I'm reasonably suspicious of anything with crypto beyond. I'm even suspicious of exchanges, but I don't think I've gotten Monero in a while. Crypto's just a giant fucking shit show where I don't even trust exchanges anymore after I got screwed. Seems like I mean, this is this a way to get Monero donations? I mean, if somebody has Monero and they want to send it, that really doesn't happen ever. It only happened a few times I got Monero. And if people want to send that, I mean, there's the wallet link. I still don't know what the fuck happened to that guy that sent me a lot of Monero. He's like, you can just have all this. I've seen what money does to people. I won't be needing it. I'm like, what the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ. If this stream got bigger, I would look into it. It just seems unnecessary now. I get like one donation like a month or something, if even that. It's too small. Like, you see, there's one chat message every an average of over 5 seconds, so I have it set so that the messages fade after they've been on screen for 1 minute, and they all fade before that window never fills up. I mean, you can have messages and shit appearing in your stream and all that usual shit with normal donations. Dude, I'll that's interesting. I'll look into it if I get more popular and I'm running like a cyberpunk pirate radio resistance station that gets at least 100 viewers or more, and then like I get Monero from like white supremacist militias and fucking systems administrators that hate the government and shit. Then I'll look into that, but there's just no necessity. If if it became, I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic if this became popular enough that I was getting so many donations that I needed a bunch of software to handle it. That would We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That will be I would be surprised if that happened. I am basically doing these streams with one foot in the grave. I oddly like this music. That little instrument, that off-tuned flute, whatever the fuck that sound is. It's I guess it's supposed to symbolize like the knightly order the Seraphan order was, that was corrupt and off base. It's out of tune. I mean, yeah, I'm still skeptical, and that's weird. Like playing files and downloading stuff. Like the crypto sphere is just a giant deregulated colony shithole. You can't even trust the exchanges. They'll freeze even the big exchanges. They'll freeze your fucking wallet while they dump. Well, because if you're one of the many holders of a coin that was getting dumped, they will freeze your account so that you can't sell your coin because they want to sell it first and crash it. That's kind of bullshit that happens. Text QR. Would you rather be a hobo with a 5% chance of being inherited by a rich guy or Hitler 2 years before the end of the war, because you have to kill yourself in the bunker, but you still Hitler. The old Family Guy, Peter asking his friends scenario. Wait, so he gets to be Black Hitler, but I have to be Cripple Hitler? Dude, why do you keep trying to make Hitler work? I mean, both of those. Well, you're pretty much fucked either way. I guess we're going to be homeless anyway, so the hobo is a step up. With Hitler, you're basically fucked unless you do what he did and you flee to Argentina and you drink sex on the beach. Is drink Long Island iced teas in Argentina. Would be a bitch trying to escape, though. Plus, Argentina gets conquered by Jews in the future. That'd be a problem for your descendants, really. Is this the Ghost in the Shell major voice actor talking to herself?
What would a conversation between the boss and Pearl sound like? Pearl, you're actually much stronger than you think. I know, it's just that my dad is so cheap, but I'm really strong. I can't lift a lot of weights like you can. That's all right. Just be loyal to Bikini Bottom. Oh, that was funny. That was great.
I also love that voice actor in Skyrim. That's one of the... Her and Grey DeLise are peak voices. There, Nick. £5 to that XMR address. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's the... Or is that Euro? Wait, that's Euro. That's Euro, right? Yeah. What's the conversion? Okay, yeah, all right. I'm retarded. I know what the Euro is. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of money to me considering I. Oh, here's something fun that happened. Where's my phone so I could show what it's doing right now? Oh, this is amazing. This randomly happened. Oh, you can't even see that because it's too bright. Basically, this phone that I've had for a couple of years, the power button doesn't really work too well. And then it randomly one day uninstalled its own operating system. It just decided to do that randomly. And it's been downloading a new operating system somehow all day. And that's great because I just spent $38 on the phone bill for this, and I can't use it. I just did that like a week ago, and it didn't matter. What type of phone is it? I don't know. It's a fucking Samsung straight talk phone that I bought a couple years ago. probably like a 4-year-old phone. 3 or 4. Do I have the links in the... What all links do I have in this fucking shit? This Twitch account. Or... Where do those links show up? I just don't know. I just wonder why my phone uninstalled its own operating system. And I can't turn it off. It's stuck like this, so the only way to see any progress on it is to wait for the battery to run out. Which, who knows when that'll be. Yeah, that's another thing, is that I don't know if you'll be able to keep using the service. I don't really know how that works. You won't, because you won't... Ugh. I mean, I assume that these open source phone softwares can do something. I mean, I have a fucking SIM card. You can probably just go off, maybe it can go off the SIM card. I don't really care about phones or really use them. It was actually really stupid. I was really contemplating whether or not I should pay the phone bill, but I was wondering, like, maybe I'll like find a job or something and then I'll need to rely on my phone a lot. Well, the decision was made for me. I got to not have a phone and pay the bill. Europe. This phone has been fucking updating a lot. So it is possible. They've been up. They would fucking up. This phone would fucking update almost every single fucking day. It would just keep. They probably just fucking fried it. This is the only time in my life I had a recliner. I didn't even think this was possible to have a recliner rocking chair. Like this is still. I actually get sad thinking about if I'll have to leave. Eventually, I'm gonna have to leave this place, and I won't be able to take this chair with me because I don't have a truck. And I'm gonna have to leave this behind. Like this, I don't even use the other chair. I do. You see this? You see that? This is my mouse pad, right here, where my right hand is. This is how I've been playing video games, by the way. I just use this armrest as a mouse pad. And I have to occasionally clean the sensor. And because this is something new to me, I've never been able to just browse the internet and write books and play video games like this. I've never been this comfortable before. I knew this would be awesome because I wrote Space Pirates, where the captain of the ship, his throne is basically a fucking, it's a big comfy recliner. I'm like, I always fantasized about that. I'm like, I bet if you had to stay in one chair for most of your life, just sitting in it, you would be sitting in a fucking recliner, in a big armchair. You wouldn't be sitting in a fucking shitty angular plastic static fixed fucking captain's chair in Star Trek. You'd be sitting in this shit. You'd be in this fucking shit. My only complaint is it doesn't go far back enough for me to use it like a bed. And yes, Kiwi farmers and trolls in general are a bunch of freaks and losers that are trying to return to normiedom and realize themselves by attacking vulnerable people. That's not well-adjusted behavior. That's for fucking freaks. They're freaks and they don't realize how obvious it is to wiser people. they would be low counts if they were exposed. That's why I find all these fucking trolls. I hate these trolls by nature because I know I've seen so many of them be like pedophiles and masturbate to diaper furry porn and ridiculous bullshit. I'm gonna keep bringing him up. The fucking bully I know. This guy who bullies people in real life wears a diaper and he's a fucking pedo. And that pretty much destroyed him when people found that out. He would go around just like antagonizing people, and then he just got eviscerated and laughed at. And I see that happen over and over online too. It's like it's pathetic. You guys don't. These people don't fucking realize that how obvious it is. It's like when people go on 4chan, or they come to these spaces which are further out. They come to this stream or like our Discord servers where there are no normal people. Nobody would come out here. And they think that that automatically doesn't prove that they're not normal. They think that they're tricking me. They're like a child saying that they didn't eat from the cookie jar and they got the crumbs on their face still. That's why I don't like trolls. Waste of time. Unless you troll normal people. You should troll people that are not vulnerable. You should like that's more of an accomplishment. You're just wasting your time tormenting people that you think are weak. Going after some weird autistic guy that likes Sonic the Hedgehog or something. You dox people for money. I mean... if true, interesting. What the hell is that? Oh, look, 1 million people were laid off work. Prosperity. All workers are losing leverage because of that, as the market gets more oversaturated. Surely this is a win for the West and the free market. Oh, what? Glad you enjoyed the stream. I realized at the beginning I wasn't really doing anything, so I just tried to get it moving by talking about the Zoroastrianism book I was reading earlier today. Israel imported like 50,000 Indian workers today. Yeah, I had trouble fucking reading that. All the zeros blend together. When I say vulnerable people, I mean bullying like a weak, mentally ill kid who just likes Sonic the Hedgehog or a man-child who likes My Little Pony, or bullying some incel that turned to Nazism, or just attacking like some fat dude who likes trains and shit like that. People that are easily attacked, people that are stragglers, instead of going after these asshole normies that are way like they antagonize people for a living, they rob people, they fucking lie about things. They make people feel like shit. Why not go after a strong person? Normies are secretly weak. It's just they are weaklings. You can find their vulnerabilities and exploit it. It's just that going after obviously vulnerable people is retarded. You know, you're punching down instead of punching up. I will say this, I did enjoy the Kiwi Farms thread on LinkedIn. The Normgroids who actually use that site are genuine freaks. See, that's something I could get more behind because that's normalized degeneracy in freaks. These are people that are materially strong and more influential and hazardous in society than some loser who likes cartoons. I used to bully people that were vulnerable, and I regret it, and nobody should do that. I was attacking the wrong people. It's the reason that we attack those people is because it's easy. It's more immediately realizing than going after, people that are harder to attack and probably deserve it more. LinkedIn's a fucking cesspit. The capitalist world is a hellhole. There's so much nightmare shit and corruption and depravity happening all around us that's been normalized. That's obfuscated. That I just think that going after obscure nerds and weirdos and like losers is just stupid. going after like actual rebels, going after people that are actually struggling and trying to stand on their own, distinguish themselves from the reality that's been sold to them. That's more compelling. That they're what they're doing compared to what the mindless masses are doing, and all the willfully malicious people throughout society. That's all I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying there's just a lot of people that don't deserve it. Like, if you had a choice to attack the what's a good target that's feasible and lesser known? Let's say you had to attack. You had two choices. You could attack a Discord server of white supremacist incels that are getting into philosophy and like trying to find out what's the next step in culture, what should they do with their lives. They're very vulnerable and they've been isolated from society. And instead, you could attack some executives of a company that builds missiles for the military, and they cancel people's pensions and shit. I'm not moral fagging. I'm just saying, if you're on 4chan, then you have a natural affinity. You're, whether you like it or not, you're on the downside of society. You're here because you hate the alternatives. I mean, you should. So, if somebody turns their back on you, you would stick the knife in them because they turned their back on you because they trusted you. They showed you weakness by trusting you. You think that they deserve to get betrayed for that? That the mere act of them being vulnerable by trusting you, that they deserve to suffer for that. I'm just saying that maybe there's something more to it. Because when we talk about like the term moral fagging on 4chan, that's basically somebody being pretentious. That's like how normies will use morality to beat you over the head and try to control you. It's not real morality, it's like the regurgitations and herd behavior. And it's a bunch of like losers on 4chan you're talking to who are pretending to be normal. That's what the term normal fag used to actually mean. It was a freak loser who was on 4chan acting like he was a normal person and trying to shame people for being weirdos. That's... Morality itself isn't bad because you're engaging in it regardless. It's just that you want... You should want more. You should want to be more curious and know what... You should want to be more precise about what you want. What's your... What are you striving towards? Why do these things? Why are things the way they are? Being more curious. That's it. and that we are the fact that we are 4chaners and other things. We are internet addicted, basically unconventional people that are here because we prefer this compared to the Gnostic prison shithole that normies live in. That we are basically in kind of like a war, so to speak, against all these cattle. And that the cattle have these vast social machinations, including weaponizing morality and lying about it and using it to oppress people. Like, there's no basis to whenever they decide that somebody should be ruined. It's all amoral pragmatism that's dictated by people above them. It's all just selfishness. It's not even real morality. It's just selfishness. They're in deception. That's what I'm saying. You should be... I'm just saying to be more... If you're not aware of this, to just... Maybe, think about this more. Fortune be taught that you never trust anyone and fuck over anyone that's not compatible with the group. Sure, there's a grain of truth to that they fucked up. They're not cut out to survive in this world, so fuck them over. But is that always what should happen? Like, if you were vulnerable, should somebody destroy you? Or should somebody enlighten you so that you can survive? So that you can understand what's happening? I agree that people should be competent and stuff. If you go on 4chan and you share your credit card number, I mean, you're a retard, and what did you expect? If I was the sole decider of what should happen to that person, depending on what that person is, I might not fuck them over, because I do want to live in a better world, and I think that the fact that we have to be addicted to the computer and live on 4chan is a byproduct of a shit world, and selfish, cannibalistic behavior is what drives all of it. It's not doing anything different, is all I'm saying. Should you not drive pedos who are vulnerable from your network? I hate dealing with the whole sphere, because it depends what we're talking about with a pedo. Because is it just some loser that masturbates to hentai of lollies? It's okay, dude, I'm not into that, but whatever, fine. We're basically in reality, we're surviving, we're in war. You gotta have allies where you can get them. And I mean, you should know this if you're acclimated with technology and 4chan. You should know that many of your peers are going to be individualists and cyberpunks because they want to protect their child board and stuff. I've been on the G board a lot. You can just talk to them that way. And they'll sometimes be pretty open about it, where they want the government and society to stay out of their shit. They want every man to be king of his castle, where some of them can bang 12-year-olds or something. And it's I don't like that, but unfortunately, this is a war. We're surviving. And I wouldn't want that to be part of my circle, really. It's unfortunate. If there's anybody, around me that is into that, they usually hide it. It's just... if they're being outwardly, tangibly bad, if they're grooming people and fucking people's lives up and ruining them, then that's not good. If people are sharing child porn and engaging in that stuff, you should distance yourself from that. I mean, that's what we do. Our groups, we distance ourselves from the pedos, right? You don't want to be anywhere near them when they get caught, okay? It's just that we can't really... I guess this is a hard thing to talk about because it has to do with a lot of pragmatism, and there's some people that, like I said, they just like hentai porn, and maybe they hate it, like we don't really choose our fetishes, and it's tragic and all that, but if they're an outwardly malicious person, then yeah, and they're probably gonna get you and everyone else in trouble, like... Yeah, there's nuances, sure. I'm just saying that attacking people because they're vulnerable isn't enough of a reason. You should want more than that. You should be thinking of, like, what kind of world do I want to live in? Well, drawn hentais, basically CP, fuck them. Again, I like tall women, mature women. I like femdom and all of that. I like that stuff. So I don't really gel with them. It's just that if somebody just masturbates to hentai, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Fine. There are men who masturbate to drawings of Sonic the Hedgehog raping Elmo. It's like, yeah. Yeah, there's worse things happening. I don't like it. But there's only so much you can do. We're being constantly crushed by the world, by normies who are themselves... A lot of pedo hunters are themselves pedophiles, by the way. Like, I know a guy in real life who is a pedophile, who gossips constantly about who's a pedophile. He probably has molested kids. And I am ostracized by society. Nobody gives a fuck what I have to say. I'll get buried if I go after him. And I hate everybody anyway. And that's what's happening in Normieville, right? So me going after some neckbeard who masturbates to hentai 2D lollies, that's not on my radar. I don't like it, it's just not on my... I don't care, really. Did you read my comment? Also, Kohasu, you typed a giant wall of text. I haven't read it yet. It's not about having bigger fish to fry either, but that's... The reason that you're attacking these people is because honestly, it's because you're a loser and you're stuck staring at losers. Because if you're in a normie place, if you were a businessman dealing with millionaires, you would be focusing on them. But because you're at the bottom of the pit, you're pulling people down with you, pretty much. You're just torturing the other vulnerable people around you, and you're banking on the fact that nobody can attack you yet. But I've seen how the tides turn. People think they're unassailable and they attack anybody who's vulnerable. Well, the shoe's on the other foot. Often, and I just learned that there has to be more to society than us harming each other just because we can. If you obsess about attacking losers, it's because you are a loser and that's all you look at. If you were around normies more, you would want to fuck with them. You would find out how shit they are. They're hypocrites. They're liars. A lot of them are pedophiles too, but they're good at hiding it. And they're probably socially finessed enough to trick you too. That's what you should really look out for. These people fucking run society, so... And also, a lot of the evil people in the world, it doesn't even... Whether they are or not, they do plenty of other evil shit. They even just emit an evil paradigm in the world that declines everything. Oh god, I'm gonna have to... Oh god, what is my fucking password? I don't even fucking... Oh god. It's been so long since I signed into my fucking Monero wallet. I'm gonna have to fucking find my password or something. Yeah, I don't remember it right now. It's somewhere on my computer. I think. Unless it's one of those things I wrote down on... Yeah, it's probably... It might be up there on the in the fucking closet. I can't open it right now. Alright, let me read Kohasu's wall of texts. Multiple here. The fear of occult coercion is especially felt by the wealthy and the aristocratic, as in a normal state of affairs. Coercion trickles down. Coercion only trickles downwards via exoteric means, through violent force, money, and the lack thereof, or social protocol. The black magician gives the client not what they need, but what they ask for, and lets the client figure out the hard way what his true needs are. The boons are sometimes dangerous, as the black magician allows the client to take risks and learn from the experience. The black magician has faith in humanity in this sense, that they should be given sufficient tools to redeem themselves or destroy themselves. It is the same principle which makes the black magician a black magician in the first place, so he extends a lesser version of this outwards to all humanity. Try and thrive or try and die. The worthy will master the power, and the unworthy will be dominated by it and destroyed. This is magic with the safety catches off. So that's relevant to the philosophy that Goyim is espousing, which is not only held by him. There's a general sentiment of this, which has a grain of truth to it. You know, like, there should be like a cyberpunk meritocracy where if you're good, then you ascend. If you suck, then you crash. But there has to be more in the world. That you can't just cling to the false absolute that attacking vulnerabilities is good. Because I'm sure you wouldn't appreciate it if it happened to you, because often we can't control when we have a vulnerability. It's going to happen sooner or later. That's all normies do. Normie society is literally revolves around either have skills and be good at concealing your weaknesses, or be destroyed. This is why whenever you deal with normies, you have to keep your cards close to your chest. Don't volunteer information. Don't let them... Don't give them weaknesses. Don't show them your chest so they can stick it with a knife. Right? That's what normies are already doing. So what I posit is perhaps there is something else we should be doing. Other than only movements happening based on if there are vulnerabilities. Because that's what normies do. And we hate normies. We're in this space because everything else sucks. And that's part of what makes the world shit in the first place. There's no beliefs, there's no camaraderie, there's like nothing. There's just normies watching each other, monitoring, gossiping, and attacking. And it sucks. It's not great. And so I just don't think that behavior is not worth emulating. If people want to deal with the black arts, the black magic like Kohasu is talking about, then yes, like you either sometimes in life you sink or swim. That's the way it is. Like sometimes it's left to fate. You either persevere or you perish. But that's not all that there is to existence. And there's more. Normie society is based on bullying and gossip and attacking people's weaknesses, and we don't like that. We reject that. Hence why we're here. If a peasant can, with a little help, murder a king with a lump of wax and a few pine, then the whole social order is rent asunder. But this kind of social order reversal has a kinder name, revolution. Horizontal creatures living horizontal lives, while those who live vertically dominate the chessboard. Yeah, that's kind of a way to look at it, is that we just kind of... people end up just attacking their peers. I see this all the time, and I would do this myself. I would just start attacking people around me. I would forget about the entire world beyond this peer group, and I would just start attacking people whenever I had a problem. And I didn't realize that like there's more out there. That I just became hyper fixated on people just by proximity. There's bad stuff happening out there. There's things so far beyond us. There's scams and malice happening. People that need to be punished. That is just beyond anything that we're immediately touching. That, like, and that's why society is the way it is. That's why we'll never attack the evil people making everything suck. Is because people can only perceive what's immediately around them. They don't have the mind to imagine like the world, the vast systems beyond their immediate surroundings. They're like an animal. It's people just clawing into each other, attacking each other, doing nothing, just attacking each other, dragging each other down. And that's why and that's why everybody's a slave. That's why we're all fucked. Humanity is literally too stupid to rebel against this system now. If things get bad, they'll just print money and they'll make us pay for all of it, and life will get worse, and everything will get worse for all of us in such a way that the average retard won't see a problem with it. That's the fucking horrifying beauty of this nightmarish system. The elites are slaves. They're slaves to the system. Elon Musk is the... Just to make it clear, Elon Musk is a fucking puppet for Zog. If he goes against Zog, his life's over. He can probably bang kids and buy shit, and he's still a slave. He has to dance or he'll lose everything. And they're also still slaves of the mind. They're slaves spiritually. They haven't attained freedom. They haven't found their true center. They haven't found their own spirit. They haven't objectified the material and the spiritual. They're just slaves. That's why they seem like idiot fucking children obsessed with pop culture, with the most fucking retarded opinions that they haven't developed because they've been allowed to gestate in their comfort. I can't even fucking sit here without being in turmoil. I have to try to relax. Trump's ABC degree image denotes a servant, as does Epstein's, although Epstein's denotes an ambassador for a prince. Focus on your breathing. I just throw on music. I just kick back in this fucking chair and I try to do something relaxing. I try to relax. That's all I can do. I can never truly have peace without living in fear of the material. I have to constantly keep suffering even inside. I have such an internal world that I've absorbed from everything that I've learned and everything that I've sublated inside of myself that I'm not even safe inside of my own mind. There's a threshold that you cross where you're just constantly transforming and going through tribulation. Funny, Chris Chan's ASC degree image is this: a man writing on his treasure. It denotes a merchant. Well, like how he's a merchant, selling off his cursed items. Really just trying to sell Sonichu. Well, he's just capitalizing on it now. He's just sitting on top of the pile, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll just start selling shit off for extra money." He basically can produce cursed objects that people covet. So, I mean, I guess I would be doing that. I'd be fucking just draw, just I would just you could just draw pictures or make shitty sculptures and sell them. Me, Epstein, and Christian all have extremely similar natal charts. Lamau. What's the... I don't know if I want to get into it right now, but I don't know what the overlap is between Epstein and Christian. I mean, like, they both... Epstein rose high and then crashed later, Odie. But Christian was just a constant dumpster fire. He fell upwards. I don't really know what the... I don't know what the similarities are there. And they're both beyond conventions in their own way. I might also call it, because I was planning on stopping at midnight, which for me was 15 minutes ago. I was on I knew Kohasu was gonna add another wall of text. Well, Chris and Epstein both have Mercury on the ascendant, both in Saturn signs. Chris with Mercury in Aquarius, Epstein with it in Capricorn. Christian has Saturn exalted in Libra on the MC, but in retrograde. Epstein, Saturn in Libra on the MC too. Epstein has Venus at max power in Pisces, which explains his charisma. Christian has Venus in Capricorn, a Saturn sign, which explains his barren social life and romantic one, especially with the square to the retrograde Saturn. Both fell upwards. I was curious if your reading of the star chart mapped my or matched the feeling that I got from like Christian falling upwards. Epstein was high rolling though, by comparison, and you say that that's accounted for Venus at max power. I didn't know Epstein was bullied as a kid. A lot of people were bullied as a kid. It just kind of happens randomly. I bullied other kids a couple of times. Shit just happens. Yeah, that's because his Saturn wasn't retrograde, but max power, and the Venus. Though Chris still never had to work. And that's interesting. Oh yeah, I was on there was this 10-hour Wolf Slumber stream. It was the last one he made as of this stream. I talked on that for like 6 hours. You guys can go listen to that if you want. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to fantasizing about tall vampire women. They are clones. Fuck it.